folks, thanks for tuning in. Hope y'all doing okay today. So here's another interesting warranty repair story. By the way, if you like any of the content you've been seeing, feel free to give me a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you got any car questions, I'd love to hear from you on them, especially if it's Fords. I'm pretty up to speed on everything Ford's put out in the past 10 or so years, even a little bit beyond that, but I got into the car business in late 2011, so I've stayed kind of up to speed on stuff. Now, getting into it, this was in 2013, had a brand new 2013 Ford Escape with the 2-liter EcoBoost come in. Customer was saying that that they were driving it out in the hills somewhere on I-65 or something in central Kentucky, and all the idiot lights on the dash came on, engine power reduced, and it ended up just being a huge issue. Those EcoBoost engines, they're great until they don't have boost. Because of the way that they're tuned and set up, when you lose boost, you lose over half your engine power. So the thing's really down on power, not accelerating the way it should, not pulling hills the way it should. Customer brings it in, it's got 15,000 miles on it. It wasn't actively doing it at that time. And so we ran the pinpoint tests on it. We contacted the tech hotline. They said, check these readings out of the manifold absolute pressure sensor, or the boost sensor, essentially. If the readings are out, replace the sensor, double check. If it passes, vehicle repair complete. Okay, so handed it off to one of the electronics guy, the guy that specialized in electronics and whatnot. He tests everything. Vehicle passed the test after the part was swapped. We had the part in stock. It took them, I think we got the vehicle around noon, and it shipped out about 6 o'clock that night. So wasn't a big deal. In and out warranty repair work, simple job. Mechanic got paid, customer got the car back, everything's good. A couple days later, comes back in, the exact same problem. This time it's lit up when we get it in, so it's actively seeing a problem and reducing the engine power. The senior tech gets the vehicle this time, just due to the way the workflow had gone in the past couple days. He gets the vehicle. They say, well, if you've already replaced the sensor, you need to check this splice and make sure that it's this splice in the engine harness, and make sure that it hasn't come loose. We've had a couple of them in the early production run where the wiring harness was got out with a subpar splice connector. So need to take a look at that splice connector, and it's located over here. So where they said it was located was in the main engine harness, right behind the driver's headlight and under the battery box. Mechanic gets this thing in. It's late at night when it comes back in. We get the customer in a loaner vehicle to get them taken care of. So I'm standing out there with mechanic because I'm kind of curious about this. I'm really curious, trying to get this thing on its feet, because it's the second time back for the exact same issue. And, never enjoy having customers upset over the exact same repair having taken place twice, or over the exact same symptom coming in the door twice. So I'm kind of curious about this one. I go out there with him. He's got the air intake, the battery box, and all that out of it. And he's got a little blade that cuts the binding on the wiring harness open, so we can look at it and find the color codes on the wires, and then trace it back for the splice. And they narrowed the wiring diagram in the repair book. That said, the tech hotline said, reference such and such page of your 2013 to 15 Escape repair guide, and you'll find the wiring diagram here on this page. Follow that wiring diagram to find the splice. Okay, cool. So he's following the wiring diagram, and he can't find the splice. He's like, well, here's all the colors, and here's the right wire, like purple and orange or whatever, but I can't find the splice in it to this other wire. So he cuts a little further open, lays it out, keeps looking, no luck. He keeps going and going a little further in each direction around where he had started unwinding it. Can't find it. He lays over half the like a foot of harness open trying to find it, gets to 2 feet, can't find it. And then he's getting real frustrated, real aggravated. Understandable. He ended up staying late that night because he wanted to figure this thing out. And he had picked the book up and went to the wrong page by accident. And on the very next page of the wiring diagram, it showed that splice diagonally across the engine bay. So he grabs the harness, cuts a little bit of it open, maybe 4 or 5 inches, finds it exactly where the opposite page suggested it would be. And bear in mind, he spent hours on this thing trying to find this splice because, he'd taken it apart, started digging for it, couldn't find it, and then all of a sudden, it's right there. So he makes the necessary repairs, gets another splice kit, does everything he needs to do, vehicle tests out fine, puts everything back together, rewraps the wiring harness in the same binding tape that Ford used to bind all their harnesses up in the engine bay at the time on that vehicle, gets it shipped out, or gets it ready for pickup. He submitted a complaint to the Ford Tech hotline and said, hey, you referred me to this page on the wiring diagram, and I spent hours trying to find this one splice, which should be easy enough to find. It shouldn't take an hour to find the splice. It should take 10 minutes to find the splice due to where it is. I mean, it's laid out right in the open. The harness wasn't buried in that vehicle in the engine bay. So he's trying to find it, can't find it, finds it on the wrong page where Ford said it wasn't. And he said that, since y'all made a misprint, I'd like my time paid out a little bit in warranty because it wasn't my fault. I read your book and your book told me wrong. He submitted that at like 8 or 9 o'clock that night when he finally got the vehicle repaired. Fast forward a touch to the following morning at 8:06 a.m. there was a special service message sent out to all Ford technicians within the Ford repair system that the wiring diagram for the 2013 to 15 Ford Escape on page whatever it was inaccurate, and to use the next page over. And I don't think the mechanic got paid his time for finding that out. But, even if he did, it's still kind of funny that a misprint of a shop manual got out, which I thought was entertaining but very frustrating for the mechanic. Just shows that everybody's human and can make mistakes, not only engineers, but the people that print the books. Folks, that's what I got on this one. Thanks for tuning in. I will catch y'all next time. I don't know if I'm going to put that